Instagram, and YouTube. And now we're going to go live. If you click the Instagram tab, we're going to hit go live there on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. As soon as you see yourself, then we're going to come back into StreamYard. Thank you all. The things that we do to get through the technology. We are here. Hello, hello, disruptors. Thank you for another wonderful coaching conversation today. We have Dr. Tamika, also known as Dr. Tam, right? And
Yes, ma'am.
why did your last name just leave my head? Now I gotta go look at the paper. Lord have mercy.
It's
Lord.
it's
Foreman.
Foreman. Foreman.
Yes, Foreman. Dr. Tam Foreman. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I am your lovely host, Selena, aka the Disruptor Coach. We thank you for being here. We do this every Sunday live, so there's no telling what can happen because we are live. And I am outside on location today, coming to you from Sandusky, Ohio. I'm staying with my baby brother. I needed a change of scenery. And so I just drove an hour, and here I be. He gonna probably put me out in about 5 more minutes. But I'm enjoying myself. I'm out on his patio. So the dog started barking when we got started, all the things. So forgive me, but this is what it is. This is how it's going to be because
I,
inside it's cold and I don't like canned air. He loves the cold. But thank you for joining us. Dr. Tam and I are going to be talking about empowerment, overcoming limiting beliefs, and self worth. Um, and a whole bunch of other things that we're also going to talk about. We're going to run the banner so you can see some of the other conversations that we are also going to have. I am I I want to talk about that who I specialize in, right? Who I specialize in serving, that is Christian women that are struggling with who they are after cutting ties in narcissistic relationships. I help you to know your power and divine identity so you can have energy, strength, and capacity to live a purposeful life on your own terms. That be me. I lived it, I breathed it, and now I'm having a purposeful life on my own terms. And I want that for you. And I also bring other coaches on that are in my circle to also be of service in this way so that you can see if they might be a fit for you depending on what you actually need. So the goal of coaching conversations is to expose you to other coaches and us to have a conversation for you to get to know them. um, yeah, and so we collaborate in that way. And Dr. Tam, thank you so much for saying yes when I put out the call.
yes, ma'am.
And so let's get started. My first question is typically, how do you show up in the world?
These days, full wattage.
Full wattage.
Full
Ooh,
wattage. No longer the wildflower, no longer sitting in the background, showing up to do what I have been called to do. It's a
ooh,
it's a small, quiet, still voice. Oh, but it's a powerful voice.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Tell us, wow, full wattage. That makes me, you know what I when I heard you say full wattage, the vision that I got of that was like sunshine, like
Oh, yeah.
the light of the sun.
Yes.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I love,
Absolutely.
love, love that. So you are an empowerment coach. Actually, on the screen, you are their empowerment coach, your
Yes,
empowerment coach.
ma'am.
How and why did you become an empowerment coach?
I became well, first of all, let me say this.
Hmm.
This is an assignment. This is something that I have been called to do in this season of my life.
Mm,
And it was the realization that my experiences, everything that I have gone through, has actually helped me to better serve other
mm,
women who have gone through like experiences.
mm.
So it took a while to say yes. As a matter of fact, I had, ooh, for the past past 4 years, honestly, for the past 4 years, I've had someone in my corner telling me, you got to speak up. You have a story. You have to get out there. Like there is another woman who can truly benefit from your story and from what you have gone through. You can help other women. And
Absolutely.
so just not accepting the time was or the delay was me not owning that calling.
Mm.
I was trying to do life another way, very honestly. And when I realized, like, no, and that came from doors being shut. That's what
Ooh.
got my attention.
Yeah, the Lord, you're gonna do it his way, one way, or either by
Yes.
force
Yes.
or willingly
Yes. Yep.
surrendering for
Yep.
sure. So
Yep.
let's just segue. Tell us your story.
Okay. My story actually began, well, the turning point was actually 2020.
Mm.
In 2020, I had gone through had been engaged for a while, was supposed to be this big wedding. And a couple of months before the wedding, my ex fiance called it off. Not just called off the wedding, relationship dissolved. And so, fast forward 6 months after that, I found myself in a really, really dark place, realizing that I had spent all of this time doing life on someone else's terms,
Mm.
doing life, doing what they wanted, right? Kind of living for somebody else and not really paying attention to what I wanted or my hopes or dreams or anything like that. And so I was in this dark place because I was like, well, now what? Reached out to a counselor, started counseling services. And that actually, going through counseling, kind of opened up other past experiences,
Yeah,
like putting a mirror up in front of me, and I truly saw me through all of those past experiences. And so going all the way back to my childhood. And so that was my turning point.
yeah,
That
that's
was
girl. It sound like you telling my story. I
the
wasn't, I wasn't engaged to nobody. I was married, but it sounds like
yeah.
my story.
Yeah.
Wow, wow,
It's crazy how we can get lost, and how
absolutely.
you just kind of lose you in somebody else. Give your power, lose your voice to this other person. And um not now I do have to take accountability because they were my choices, but in doing that, I still realize, like, you just let yourself go. And
Mhm.
so hit that low point, and that was like, okay, now what?
Yeah,
And so that's when I started start really doing the work and digging up some things. And once I started that digging, looking at things from the past all the way back to childhood, started recognizing patterns and different cycles, and I was like, oh, wow, it was tough. It was super tough. Um, Reliving some of those experiences and doing the work to overcome those experiences. And part of that work was realizing that I was not those experiences.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Those are moments. I
Mhm.
went through very similar. Um, I was never a person to live in the past, but then I
Mhm.
started realizing that I was still carrying so much of it around, though,
Mhm.
that didn't exist.
Mhm.
You said some really meaty things, and what popped in my spirit based on my own life experiences and
Mhm.
going through this journey, and I'm curious about yours, is the fact that you found yourself like living your life for someone else.
Mhm.
And a big thing for me in that process, and not just the in the marriage, but like my whole life, other people, like putting everybody in front of me, all of those things. I can even remember my hearing myself say to myself, well, I'd rather be hurt than for them to hurt. I would just,
Mm,
sacrifice myself for
mm.
whatever reason for somebody. What do you attribute that from, where that came from? Or I don't know that you felt, like you would rather somebody hurt rather than you, but just the fact that you were self-sacrificing, or is that valid to say?
That is very valid to say, and that's a great point. That's the people pleasing, and that actually comes from childhood experiences as well. Wanting to, I grew up in a single parent home,
Mm,
and it was just my mom, my brother, and myself. And so the absence of a father, that feeling of rejection,
mm,
right? From a very, very early age, the feeling of rejection because the father figure was not there. Then having the mother, my mom, of course, being there, wanting to cling and hold on to that. So
yeah,
let me do whatever I needed to do to please and to be good and to do things right and it was also to get attention as well.
absolutely.
She was very my mom worked two jobs to raise us, and doing that, I saw how hard she worked.
Yep.
And of course, I didn't want to do anything, to disappoint her or anything like that. So that's where those very, very early signs and seeds of people pleasing actually came from. So much so you continued, and that just kind of, as you grow older, it tends to magnify. So now, not only in the home, it goes outside of the home, and so now you find yourself trying to please other people, right? To be
Right.
their good graces, regardless of how you feel about it. So those feelings of self-sacrifice and just denying your own wants and desires and just ignoring your own feelings just to please someone else was very much a part of the pattern I mentioned earlier. So when I
Mhm.
started doing that, doing the digging, right, going back to those patterns, those cycles, that was definitely part of it.
That can you see me okay? You look a little just, you're on my end, you're a little uh, grainy and blurry.
I
I
see that.
I know I look whited out, and I don't know what's going on because we didn't start until we got in here live. It's so crazy. Um, I'm curious.
Mhm.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. Okay. And I know for me, being the oldest, I always uh, felt a sense of responsibility to take care of my brothers. I have two younger brothers. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and I've seen in that regard how that shows up with that
Mhm.
people pleasing and feeling responsible and all of that. And then you mentioned um, the absence of the father and
Mhm.
that void that creates. What Wow. Let me look at my notes because I want to switch gears a little bit because you have doctor in your name,
I do.
right? And so, what type of doctor are you? Where did the doctor come from? And how, I'm wondering how that may have helped or hurt in what you were going through.
I am a doctor of educational leadership.
Mm,
And so that actually has helped my journey. That has helped me to overcome.
mm,
Um, I know we were doing a little talking beforehand, and I mentioned that just not this time last year,
yeah.
seeing myself where I am like today. And I say that the doctor helped because going through that the whole doctoral journey has made me realize, wow, you are a phenomenal woman.
Yes, you are, girl.
You fierce, you fire, you can do these things. You can set goals. You can put, action items in place, and you can accomplish goals. And right now, believe it or not, this is a part of my dream. What I'm doing is actually a part of my dream. But there was actually a period of time when I thought that it was too far fetched.
Mm, mm.
Mhm,
Wow. So tell us about your dream.
mhm. To help other people, to help other women. I love education. I love teaching, sharing, and being able to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know that it would actually show up like this, because I was in education for 17 years. And when I switched gears, I actually had my plan was to go back into education, but a different sector.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, those doors just weren't opening up the way that I was like, what is going on here? Like, what's the problem? And then this realization came. No,
Mm,
this is what you're supposed to be doing right now. And so this is part of my dream. Additionally, continue with the lines of education, there is the dream to actually start an Academy of Excellence for African American children.
mm,
Our babies need a lot of loving and support. And I believe that there are flaws within our system right now as a whole. We do have some isolated successes, but speaking as a whole, our system as a whole. Um, it is not best designed or suited for our children's needs.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely a part of my dream, is to give back in that manner and to create a space that is for them to thrive.
Absolutely. And so I would imagine
Mhm,
in doing that, you have to have the right people
mhm,
to be able to support the dream.
mhm.
Is that where the women that you're called to serve would come in, or what does that kind of look like? Who out there, who is that woman that would need your services?
Middle age, midlife, we in our 40s, 50s, Christian professional women who, very similar to those who you have been called to. We're in a place right now where we've lost our voices, we have denied ourselves, elevated others, we've given up on hopes and dreams, kind of
Mm,
put goals up on the shelf. And so I come along and I support these women by helping them, number one, figure out what is it that you want? Like,
right.
do you know who you truly are? What is it that you want? Why have you not been able to meet those goals just yet? We're going to put a plan in place to help you overcome whatever those challenges may have been. And then give you action items where we can literally walk out, where you will find yourself accomplishing crushing those goals. And
Shay.
those goals are going to lead to the big dream that you have for yourself. So those are the women that I am called to serve right now in this season.
Shay. Let's talk a little bit about so I'm known as the Disrupt Her coach.
Mhm.
What did
I love that.
what did the disruption in you have to disrupt? The disrupt her in you, rather.
The disruptor in me had to redefine past experiences.
Woo.
I had to redefine past experiences. Once I discovered that there was a power inside of me, and that comes from self evaluation, doing really soul work, and learning that I am the daughter of a most high God and that I have been given this power.
Mm-hmm.
And so, knowing that I have this power, I've done the work to go back. And so, those past experiences, like the cancellation of my wedding and then that relationship dissolving, whereas I saw that at that time as rejection,
Right.
I now know that as God's protection.
Hello, girl. Tell somebody.
Had I gone down that pathway, you and I would never have met. I would not be having this conversation with you today. I would not be in the communities that I'm in now. I would not be serving the women or walking in this calling like I am now. So the knowing the power and the authority that I have gave me the right to go back and redefine those experiences, because before thinking about that, oh,
Yeah.
that had me in tears still. I'm
Mhm.
like, woe is me. How could this person have done this to me? And then even that, because when one negative thought pops up, it starts
Right.
leading to other ones, right? And so, man, I found my power, I found my voice, and I was like, oh, no, no, no. This will no longer consume me. This will no longer be my story. And so, with that new power, I gave new meaning and redefined those experiences that used to keep me bound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was, what do they call it? That was the setback for the setup.
The setup. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that. And definitely about knowing your power and your divine identity. You know whose daughter you are. I
Mhm.
love that. It's so interesting. We are our goals are definitely intertwined. And we were
Uh-uh.
talking off camera about how the squads and the environments that we're finding ourselves in had no idea, but now that we've answered the call, it's showing up because
Right.
it was waiting on you
To
to
say
show
yes.
up.
Yep. Yep.
And it's meeting you right where you're at. I love that for you. I totally love that. Why empowerment? Why are you an empowerment coach? Why not life coach or something other than that?
Empowerment coach, because the word empower means just that, the knowing that you have power inside of you.
Mm,
It
that's
is
so
the
good.
power that is inside of you. That is what made the difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing who I am and realizing what's actually inside of me. And the thing is, I don't even know what all is inside of me, but I've tapped into this other side.
Right,
I've tapped into something that I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I'm on to something. And
right.
just wanting that for other women and for them to walk it out as well and to live the life that they've been created and called to live.
Ashe, Ashe. I love that. I love that. And there's so many. The other part of what you were saying earlier, I wonder about too, right? I feel like as women, we are called to give so much of ourselves and we
Mhm.
do it willingly. And I'm curious if some of that from your perspective, because I have my opinions about this.
Okay.
You're a woman of God.
Mhm.
And do you believe that there is a role that religion plays in that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I want to say that there is a role that religion plays in it. Um, However, that role that religion played
Yeah.
is not the role that I operate in now. I grew up in church, and I thought that growing up in church, that some things weren't supposed to happen to you because you were in church.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have the full knowledge and understanding, but I went to church and was proud to say, I'm a church girl.
Right.
I got to go to church. I can't stay out too late or whatever. Or even if I did, I'm going to roll up early on Sunday morning and I'm still going to church. But that was the religion part. This part that I operate out of now, this is from relationship.
Oh,
Religion and relationship are not the same thing.
I actually have a T-shirt that talks about that. It's not a religion; it's a
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's what I walk out of now. Because now I know him for myself. I don't know him just because mama told me to go to church.
Say that.
Or even when I left home, will call me on Sunday mornings, you up? Get up and go to church. Like that was still out of that religion. But now I know him for myself. And knowing that even with all those experiences
Mm-hmm.
that I've gone through, even when I was going through 'em, I didn't see God in that, in any of it.
Right.
But because I have a relationship, I see him in everything.
That is
So
really good.
it's a huge difference. Yeah, it's a huge
Absolutely.
difference.
Knowing and experiencing totally different. I feel like
Mhm.
for a long time I was viewing the Most High through somebody else's lens,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The story that
Mhm,
they were saying, grew up in Pentecostal church, then
mhm,
it was I married Baptist,
mhm.
then my third husband was Jehovah's Witness. It was like, whoo,
Woo!
girl. I would say the other thing too that I'm curious about, there's this underlying, and maybe it's overarching too, but
Okay.
there's this golden thread that I believe happens in society, that someone else is going to make you happy. Like we're
Mm,
always waiting for this thing or
mhm,
something, someone, something, that the happiness is outside of us
mhm,
when it's an inside job.
mhm.
And it takes, I feel like it takes something to shake your core to come to understand that. What is your belief about that?
I agree with that 100%. And I'm gonna tell you what shook my core. What shook my core was when my ex-fiance called off the wedding, because it had always been a desire of mine, hmm, to be married, because I know that there are many single women who feel as though they are not accepted or recognized or even a whole woman because they have not been chosen.
Saying, oh girl.
And so we wait for the day of that big question to be popped to us, and walking down the aisle, going through all of that to finally arrive, thinking that magical moment is going to shift a switch and
Mm,
that we will forever be happy.
right.
And for me, I was so close. It didn't happen. And so then I was like, well, now what?
Now what? Yeah.
So it was only through the experience of all of that being canceled and going through the counseling, working with coaches, mentors, going through all of that, really finding out who I am and discovering me and learning to love me. So I am responsible for my happiness, not someone else.
Absolutely. And it's when you think about it, when you start to get clear and understand that, how could someone else make you? They don't know you well
Right,
enough.
right,
And
right.
sometimes what I see is most women don't know themselves because most parts of them are made up of other people's hopes and dreams and desires and things that have been put upon them that
Mhm.
they just receive. You just keep taking it, holding all the bags,
Absolutely,
you know. And
absolutely.
so who are you, darling? Who are you?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
so it's a journey to find yourself.
mhm.
It's a journey
Yeah.
to find yourself. I find the clients that I've worked with um, recognize and realize we might not necessarily be trying to be married,
Mhm.
although that is a desire and it could happen, but realizing there's more peace within than worrying about what's going on externally.
That's a whole word right there. Just finding that inner peace and learning to love you, just learning who you are as a person, but then loving her for who she really is.
And knowing
All
you dope as heck,
exactly. And
girl.
every flaw, I mean, all of it. Like every just love truly loving the skin that you are, every single bit of you. Learning, I mean,
Absolutely.
loving all of that. That's that peace for me. Absolutely,
Hmm.
most definitely. And whereas there were times where I would used to think like, well, why ain't nobody calling me? Well, I want to go hang out with somebody. Well, listen, these days, I'm glad my phone not ringing.
I know that's right.
I have learned to love being alone. I
It's
like this is it's my peace. I'm just as content. I can curl up with a book. I can go take me a bubble bath. I'm good. I can put some soft music on and just kind
Yes.
of chill out and I'm good.
You
I love that time.
yes, you gotta love being with your
Yeah.
own self.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
somebody else gonna love you? You
Right.
you girl, girl. I love kicking it with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really do. And I have found, so I've been married 3 times.
Okay.
And let me tell you, I wasn't trying to marry nobody.
Really?
Yes. 3 times. And so I was married at 16. I wanted to get out of my grandparents' house. Like I told you, I grew up Pentecostal and I was trying to get out of there. My
Mhm.
mother sent me to live with them to keep their eye on me, per se. And so the boy asked. So I'm like, sure,
Okay.
I got along, boy. I wasn't really thinking about marriage. I was thinking about the fact that, oh, I get to go be grown, be on my own, because I felt
Yeah.
like that anyway,
Yeah.
right? And so my mother let me get married. I was a straight A student, all the and it really unknowingly I was following in her footsteps.
Oh, wow.
Yes, had no
Cycles.
idea.
Them
And so,
cycles.
yep, then that happened. And then my second marriage, I was still married when I met him. I wasn't because I wasn't trying to not be married,
Mhm.
or trying to be married. So I just was like, well, I'm just gonna chill. Right. I'm not, ain't no need in, we weren't together, but we were still married. I was like, well, ain't no need in rushing, to get a divorce because I'm
Yeah.
not checking for that anyway. Right. So I felt like it was like a defense mechanism. So then I, um, I met my second husband and right out the gate, he kept telling me I was going to be his wife. I was like, dog, like, no, dude, this is not,
I'm not
no,
doing
I'm already married. I'm not interested in being married. And I believe when you're when you're in your own energy and things like that, it attracts who's meant to kind of be there, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I was good, but he was all the things. He courted me and my mama. Like he wasn't gonna be denied. Like he
Okay.
told everybody he could find that I was gonna be his wife. And so he won. He won. Great, great. I liked him more than I loved him. I
Mhm.
really, really, really did. And we only got to do life together for a short time. 7 months after we got married, he passed away, asthma attack.
Mm. Oh,
And
wow.
then I was widowed for about 25 years. And
Wow.
then yeah, this last marriage is what flipped my world upside down.
The
That
disruption, the disruption.
that caused a whole hell of a lot of disruption. And and with that, it's just no secret, right? I learned that he was a narcissist 3 months in. I met him on the day that I had come back from maternity leave. So after my second husband died, we had been trying to get pregnant. I ended up getting pregnant by a guy that I started seeing, that I wasn't even, in my grief and all of that. And I decided to keep the baby. And so the day I came back from maternity leave, I met who was my third husband
Oh, wow.
that first day. So yeah, it's just a lot with that. And I say that to say, when all of this stuff went down, it's what sent me inward afterwards, right? With the narcissism and everything, because I needed to figure out, well, how did I get here?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, and I feel like you got to do that, right? I heard you say that
Yep.
you went inward, you got the support and all of the things. What did you discover um when you went inward? Was there like this one thing that like you were like, oh my God?
When I went inward, like I said, I started going back to early childhood. And a big running theme for me was the rejection.
Mm,
So in the beginning, it was rejection, abandonment.
yeah, that's
Um,
another word.
just that feeling of abandonment, right? Like, how is it that, a man can have a child and not care for that child or be in that child's life? It was that part. And so then you end up feeling rejected. And so moving forward, even like early 20s, early 30s, dating guys, after a period of time, for whatever reason, those feelings would come up again.
Mm.
I think that, what is it, ghosting, when you're ghosted.
Oh
um
yeah, yeah.
and so then that feeling of rejection, there it is again. So that was a huge, like a reoccurring theme,
Mm.
um in my life. Yeah, that was definitely one of the big ones. And I had to do the work to, like, once I discovered the power, then
Yep,
I had the authority to redefine that.
absolutely.
Yeah, because
I
all of
love
those doors. And it also because I now know who I am, it also, once I started redefining things, it made me look to see, like, oh, it was a whole different lens. Because back then I couldn't see some things. Like
absolutely.
some of the people that I had attached myself to,
Yeah,
like, girl, you know good and well. Like, why you you ain't supposed to be with that person. You ain't supposed to be going to those type of places. But at that time, I was looking through a whole different lens, right? I was
absolutely.
looking to fill that void. I thought that's what love was, right?
Mm.
Trying to fill those voids, and you're making all the wrong selections, being with wrong people, wrong places, wrong times. So now, in those things, experience
Mhm.
kind of had me feeling like, well, I did that. And well, because of I did that, well, I'm not, this is the life that I'm not worthy. It had me feeling that I wasn't
Mm.
worthy of having anything better.
Right.
there was a pattern of people. They look different, right? Different
Yeah.
names.
Right.
There was patterns of people in both personal and professional life, a pattern of people. And because of those experiences, I'm like, see, because this is your history, right? So because of this, you can't have anything better.
Mm.
But that's
Mhm.
because I did not know who I was.
Right.
So my whole perspective, my lens, outlook on everything had to change.
So let me ask you then, what's one action listeners can take this week to challenge a limiting belief and step into their empowered selves?
One thing that you can do, an action that you can take right now,
Mhm.
is to become more self-aware.
Mm.
Think about your thinking, because when we are not empowered, when we don't know who we are, when we don't have that authority, know of that authority and power within us, you're looking externally.
Mm.
So take a look on the
Mm.
take a look on the inside and start thinking about your thinking. How do you see yourself?
Mm.
Because more than likely, it is not in the most positive of ways.
Mm.
And we don't always want to, it's not easy for us to admit that we do
Right.
have negative thoughts of ourselves. It's difficult for us to admit, you know what, I am settling.
Mm.
These are hard conversations that we first have to have with ourselves. So this week, start thinking about your thinking. What kind of conversations are you having with yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That
Yeah.
is a good one. And then once they start thinking about their thinking, is there something new that needs to happen?
I would start making a list. Make a list of everything that you've said negatively about yourself. Make a list of, if you say, oh, I'm not good enough, if you have actually said that to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Write that down. What experiences make you feel that way?
Mm. Mm.
So now we're kind of like uncovering some things. Next, I would have you to now discover who you truly are.
Mm.
And that's going back to the word of God. Who does he say that you are?
I love
Because
it.
this is what you're saying, but who does he say you are? Because for years we have been lying to ourselves. Who does he say that we are? And this is actually something that I do with my clients. We actually take this walk, this journey together,
Mm.
because it is challenging to sit down and think of those thoughts, revisit those thoughts, and to connect those experiences. But I help my clients to discover what the word of God actually says about them. Who does he say that we are? And then
Yeah.
we're replacing his word with our word.
Mm.
In my coaching program, I actually help them to learn how to do that.
That's powerful. That's powerful. That is powerful. I love that. Um, the support and walking through it. Because it does get tender, right? Because
Mhm, mhm,
that, like you said, I forget the word that you use when you talked about how you had to reframe those
mhm,
stories that you had from the past.
mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I know that we can't truly move forward until we are able to do that. Like, we have to disrupt the lies.
Mm-hmm. Because that's
And
what they are. Lies from the pit of hell.
That's it. And they run deep because for many of us, they have ran our entire lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Let's
Mhm.
switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Um, let's talk about um, what does a typical day look like for you, and how do you incorporate self care into your routine?
A typical day for me actually starts in the presence of God. That actually starts before I get up out of the bed. So literally rolling over, if I'm able to open up my eyes, it's thank you, Lord. I have started having, I have a furry baby. And so
Oh,
we go walking every morning. But now those morning walks are more prayer walks. And it's just something about being outside, being in nature.
yeah,
Um, I'm utilizing that time just to have conversations with God and
yeah.
just to be show gratitude for number one for being here, and just acknowledging who he is and who he has been in my life. That is so important to me because there was a period of time that I did not do that. I
Mm-hmm.
did not do that because I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I do know, so I definitely take advantage of those opportunities. I have um, I have a little book, and inside my little book, at the beginning of each week, I kind of write down tasks, 10 tasks, no more than 10 things per week of things that I would like to get accomplished within that week's time. And so I'll come in, after my prayer walk and spending time in devotion. Um, my days, I'm ready to really start, like get going now. And it's taking a look to see like what do I need to accomplish and get some things done. One way, one thing that I for sure implement now for self-care is I take time to rest.
Yeah,
That used to be naps. But and sometimes it still may be a nap. And that could be like a little 15 30-minute nap or something like that.
ain't it, Bay? Oh my
But
goodness, it's so good.
I love it. But just to walk away. I might go walk again. Well, right now I'm in Texas. So right now it's too hot to be walking in the middle of the day. So
Right.
even if it's just to sit down and just watch something on television for a few minutes, just to kind of let my mind go, regroup
Mm-hmm.
a bit, and then come back. But that is one way that because I used to be one of those go, go, go all time.
Oh yeah.
Laptop in hand. I'm everywhere with the laptop,
Mm-hmm.
working something all the time. So now I definitely do more breaks throughout my day.
That's good. Breaks are good. Breaks are Bay. They
Mhm.
allow for space for other things, right?
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. Like I just came back into town, went down to visit my mom in East Texas and hung out with some family. And yesterday, I did not touch my laptop at all.
I love that.
And I realized that when I got ready to go to bed, like you didn't you didn't do any work.
And
Like,
nothing blew up.
and the world is still turning.
Get out of here.
The world is still turning. But
Get out of here.
yeah, rest for sure. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And I actually have an acronym for rest. Rest is an acronym.
Mm-hmm. Let me
Me,
write this in my notes.
it's me letting go. It is relying on God,
Mm.
expecting for Him to deliver,
You said expecting?
expecting Him to deliver
Mm.
on His promises, speaking life over myself,
Mm.
reminding myself every day of who His word says that I am. And the
Love
T
it.
is timing,
Woo!
knowing that it is all in His timing. So it doesn't matter if I am on this laptop from sun up to sundown. it's still gonna be within his timing. So I might as well take a break and rest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I do.
That is really good. That is good. Oh my goodness. Relying on God,
Yep.
expecting Him to deliver, speaking
Mhm.
life over yourself,
And it's in
and
his
then
timing.
timing. It's all in His timing.
Yes, ma'am.
That is good. I love a good acronym.
Yes, ma'am.
I love a good acronym.
That's what I'm living by these days. Remembering
So
to rest.
I love that. These are some really good practical things that can be implemented like right now, right away,
Hmm.
for a sister out there that is going through
Hmm.
what you've already been through and
Hmm.
overcome. Uh, I'm going to switch gears a little bit again. Um,
Okay.
outside of coaching, what are some of your hobbies and interests that bring you joy?
I am a creative and I really enjoy anything where I really get to use my hands, like
Oh
creating
yeah,
things. So right now, two things that I really enjoy doing is floral designs, like putting together flower arrangements.
I saw
I
that.
I really love doing that. And I also love designing, helping other entrepreneurs, um, especially new to the game,
Hmm.
designing like their landing pages.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My undergrad degree is actually in art.
Really? Oh,
So
I may need
I
your help, boo, because my
over
stuff is found on the road somewhere a little bit.
well over 20 years ago, I earned this degree, but just really now have started utilizing, and I've done things like here and there throughout, but really
Yeah,
utilizing that gift, like putting it into action now. So I love it. I do.
nothing wasted.
Those are my hobbies. Those are things that I do
I love
outside
it.
of coaching.
So somebody could call you up to get a landing page design.
Oh
Is that
yes,
what you're saying?
absolutely. That is exactly what I'm saying.
All right. All
That
right.
is exactly what I am saying.
All right. You the plug. I'm a send some folks your way, y'all. We're gonna drop the link on in the captions after we're done. So
Okay.
I always love to ask, like, what are you reading? What are you listening to? What has had a significant impact in your life that you could share? Podcasts, resource,
Well, aside from my podcast, the Her podcast,
the
I'm
Her
sorry,
podcast.
I had to get that
Say
little
more.
plug in there. But the Her
Yes. What is
podcast,
the yes?
Her is an acronym also. It stands for Healing, Empowerment, and Restoration. And it is the Heard podcast with Dr. Tam. And in that space right now, I'm actually running a series on different limiting beliefs and
Mm.
giving tips on how to overcome some of those limiting beliefs.
Ooh, give us just
So,
one good tip, and then we got to tune in for the rest.
okay, one good tip, positive affirmations.
Mm.
One good tip, positive affirmations. And
Mm.
those are affirmations that are biblical affirmations based on the word of God. We're again speaking over ourselves every single day and reminding
Right.
us who his word says that we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is good. That is good.
Yep.
That brings back memories. Me being in my war room and having
Hmm.
having scriptures as affirmations, like all over the wall on post-it notes. Because
Hmm.
you have to remind yourself.
Hmm. You do. You
I
do.
love that.
Yeah. We gotta, I mean, if we're talking about disrupting the lies, and that's what limiting beliefs are, disrupting the lives, like we have to surround ourselves and just with his word and use that against those limiting beliefs and kind of start tearing down those old walls that
Hmm.
we have built up over the years.
Yes.
Over my bedroom, over my bed in my bedroom, it is a wall of affirmations.
Yeah,
And there are different little words: empowering, leader, motivating, that are over my bed. So I am reminded of who I am. And that's just one way that it's something that I have to look at every day, but it helps me to remember who I am, even when it gets tough.
absolutely. You need that because the world outside is crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you fighting the demons you see, and then there's ones you
Ones you
don't see.
don't. And the ones you don't. Yep. Yep.
That's good. That's powerful. That's powerful. What books or other podcasts and resources are you listening to?
Books that I am reading, I actually just finished reading Who Wants to Be a all of us should be a millionaire. Every one of us, what is it? All of us should be a
Oh,
millionaire.
we should all be.
We should all be millionaires.
Yes, that's.
Rachel Rogers. Just finished reading that one. I have also been reading Worthy.
I just got done with that. Worthy by Jada Pinkett. Oh
No, no,
wow!
no. This is Jamie Kern Lima. Is
Tell
the
me
author.
that one. Jamie.
Jamie Kern, Kern Lima, Lima.
I'm gonna have
So
to
I'm
look
about
for that.
halfway with that one.
What's that
And
one about?
that one is about reminding us that we are worthy.
Mm,
Mhm. Yep.
mm.
Reminding us that we are worthy. So she shares her experiences and basically her journey to get to where she is now
Yeah.
knowing that she is a woman of worth. Um,
Mm.
and another one that really sticks out, and I actually listened to this. I've listened to this audio recording quite a few times, but it is the Book of Jabez,
Ooh.
and the prayer, Jabez's prayer, four little short sentences. Um, but in that prayer, he says, "Enlarge my territory,"
Mm.
and that's what I ask when I am praying to God and asking him to enlarge
Mm.
my territory
I
so
love
that
that.
I am able to reach and to support and to help even more women to discover who they truly are.
Absolutely. Oh, this is so rich. I'm like, there's a book out there called Worthy that I didn't know about other than Jada. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
it's
Look,
good. Get your hands
I'm
on it.
gonna go check that out like right now. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
see that. That's so good. Um, any other resources that you
Any
might?
other resources? I am excited about, hold on one second. That's my baby I was telling you
I
about.
see.
um, my next book that I'm going to get that I have my hands on and I'm about to start reading is actually Power Moves. Was supposed to start earlier in the year, but wanted to definitely get finished with a couple of others first that I was
Right.
already reading. But that's going to be the next one that I'm jumping into. So I'm super excited about reading that one.
Power moves. Yeah. I'm gonna listen to it. I have to hear the book, and then it determines if I'll buy it. It's like,
Oh,
okay, I think I'm gonna need that for the library. I really don't need to buy another book.
okay.
Audio serves me, but then it's just something about having the book
Having
and
get
being
your
able to
hands
go
on.
and
Yep.
look through
Yep.
the page. It's different than even the ebook, the digital.
Mhm,
It's like,
mhm.
oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This is so rich. Where can the people find you?
All the platforms. I'm on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and I am Dr. Tam, your empowerment coach. And I also actually have a YouTube channel as well. I mentioned the Her podcast that's available on Spotify, so definitely check that
Wow,
out. Um, but yeah, you can find me in all the places, all the
I
places.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, y'all check her out in all of the places. As you know, I'll drop the links that she shared to the resources, the books that she's reading, her podcasts. Uh,
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Well, before we get out of here, I like to ask my guests.
Okay.
I've been asking all of the questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Do I have any questions for you? No, but I would like to say this. No questions, but I would like to say that I want to thank you for this opportunity. Um, and that's kind of twofold. Number one, the opportunity, just you creating this platform and allowing other coaches to come and have these conversations with you, um, with the hopes of reaching even more and impacting more people's lives. I absolutely love that. But it's also given me an opportunity to share my story and to hopefully be able to reach to impact um, another woman's life. So I pray that everything that we have, our conversation has been very enriching to others, and that something has landed on their heart that is going to definitely make an impact and start opening up their eyes so they can truly see who they have been called to be.
Shay, me too. I love that, and I hope so too. I appreciate that you said yes. So
Yes.
thank you for being here. And I love the friendship and the that's developing between us.
Mhm.
Just backstory for all those that are tuned in. We're in the same one of the coaching communities that we're in
Mhm.
with Coach Kelly J. For those, shout out to Coach Kelly J. And then we ended up also in the social media boot camp
Yep.
together. So we were down in the trenches with the
Yep.
social
Yep.
media. Um, and
Literally.
literally. And my spirit had just kept reminding me, you need to reach out to her. You need to reach out to her. And and spirit knows, right? Because I
Yes.
don't know that I fully knew your story to this extent, right?
Mhm.
And we have so much parallel.
Yes.
The words that are coming out of your mouth is like me talking.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Like, okay, okay. And
And
so,
even like your even some of the background, like, form, ex in-laws from the same area of the country where I
oh
live.
yeah, oh
I've,
yeah, oh yeah.
even all of these different connections, all these different
Yes,
connections.
I got to live in Dallas for 5 months. I've been to Big
Mhm.
Sandy, I've been to Tyler. Like I know all them. Oak Hill, was it Oak Hill? What is it called?
Oak Cliff,
Oak
Oak Cliff.
Cliff. That's what it
Mhm.
is. Woo! Oak Cliff ain't no joke. Um, all of the things, and but the best people in the world. They got the biggest hearts. The biggest
Yes,
hearts. I love them like I was born into that family.
that's
I
awesome.
appreciate the way they love me too. And yeah, so there's just so much similarity. I'm coming on her podcast.
Yes,
I just
ma'am.
had a deadline to reach, and I ain't want to overextend myself. And I'm putting my request in.
Okay, okay, come on, we ready for you.
I want to be your first guest, so I need to get in there before somebody
And
else.
you shall be, as a matter
Thank
of
you.
fact.
Yes, yes, yes. This has been so wonderful. So thank you. I appreciate you saying
You're
yes.
welcome. You're welcome.
So you all, the energy and the chemistry that's taking place between us, I believe that you will see more of us showing
Yeah,
up in the faces and
yeah,
spaces and places to
together.
do what God has called us to do.
Yeah,
So be praying for us in that regard because I just feel it. I got a little jump in my heart even when I just said that. So something's going on.
yeah.
um, Thank you all for tuning in. Any other words or anything else like you'd like to share before we go?
I will continue to pray for each of those who we have been called to serve. Um, just hold on. Just hold on.
That's right.
It
That's
gets
right.
better.
That's right.
It gets
That's
better.
right. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you all. Be good to yourselves. Be good to yourself.
Self-care, self-love.
Good night. That's our time.